So, by the way, so I was thinking, people are, for centuries are always like, starting multi-planetary conquests and war, just, to eat this tea or whatever. And well, I never had the tea, and because I never received even a spoonful of it. I do have many mixtures that are not the tea, but they do contain something that I think is, according to a major hypothesis of mine, is equivalent, if not much superior, or in fact much superior to the robots that presumably are the active ingredients in the tea or the coffee. Like presumably the active ingredients, the red and also brown, but mostly red Neros, and I have the yellow variant, presumably, and I have many mixtures of all sorts. But I never eat it. During Passover, ceremoniously, just put very, very just tiny drop on matzah, So I thought maybe let's eat it. So I actually already ate a little bit, a couple, maybe an hour or 2 or 3 hours ago. I don't remember, and it was I would say the main problem is that I took things from the crucible, which is the least disgusting of all the containers that I have, which says much something. It says a lot, because this is one of the most disgusting things that you can imagine. I would say that mostly the problem was metal bits that were kind of difficult to deal with. But the juice is actually the oil, like the juicy fruit, spearmint juicy fruit is actually palatable. So I used a bun with a hot dog that we received today. I never eat. I try not to eat. I don't eat meat at all, and try not to eat chicken. But this is very, very, very. It's kind of an extreme case that I really don't know how can I eat these things. Besides, I hope God will forgive me. Just this time. Really, I feel, because I don't know what. I should put it in the bun, because it's kind of it's juicy, as you see in a moment, and I cannot eat the actual material, which is either all sorts of charcoals or burnt toilet paper. But I will not justify myself, because I just ask the Lord for forgiveness. Just אך הפעם הזה האלוהים, אך הפעם הזה, ונקמה אחת משתי עיניי, התנקמה בפלישתים. So we also have mastered it. I bought a couple of days ago. So let's take a deep dive into alien gastronomy. Maybe you are much more aware, of the things than I am. The Israelis are very happy that they do it, because they expect me to die any second, because they know that these things contain ton of life forms, and they are already aware that these life forms are, they suffer from the existence of these life forms in their body for many years now, and also people abroad that bought the tea from them. And some of you, I know that, you think that it's because the Israelis sold you, instead of presumably authentic tea, they sold you. I told you that. Since yesterday, I've told you that they sold you actually sometimes. One of the replacement, it's not the only one, was actually, it came from eggs, mixture that, from raw eggs that were taken from snakes, specific kind of snakes in Venus. And this is true, I didn't lie. Oh shit, something fell out of this, from the, a metallic object fell. And I wasn't lying, it should be said that, there are many, there is a question of what's the original? What do we, because most of you, I understand, even in Israel, did not really understand, that these are robots. What you really say is not, we didn't get the original, we got replacement, but you say, we wanted something which will be amazing, and it was eventually less than amazing. But in reality, and maybe I'll repeat it in the next video, regarding the last video of the robot saga. There are so many possible dangers that can be that, both sexual transmitted disease and also other diseases that can happen because of humans eating these things, and because of the interplanetary cross-contamination. And so maybe I'll speak about some more, but it should be said, this is just one of many options. And it's not the original thing is something that you should have or could have eaten safely, because even the original thing I mean, arguably it's even more dangerous because they obey my command, and I don't know if the neurons of the snakes obey my command because they are not of my family. Because the ones that you received that actually came from the body of the Venusian, like females, not Venusian females, but Titans, and I will explain a bit what's the difference. Because there's the issue of of transformation between species, and so we should discuss it in the next video. But I mean, it's only there because of the existence of the brown robots that cannot be found for many years now, and the yellow ones that can only be found when they are taken from me by force. So in essence, all the red robots, the red neurons in Earth currently, and I understand that there is much less than before there because there was kind of of course the Cherubs did it. I mean, who can done it besides? I mean, the Cherubian Starship, annihilated a lot of the red ones. I understand, but it all comes from me. And of course, I didn't get 1 shekel, and I was already only tortured all my life. But because of that, they are. According to the biology or the social biology of Venus, and I said it very clearly, it's like that they are all my wives, like all these creatures. The women that they eaten my semen are like in social biological way are my wives, like my family, and also everyone that eaten their body or their bodily fluids is also my family. That's why I can control them. Like I can tell them all, create worms or create whatever inside the bodies wherever you are. And I do not know if it's the same with the robots that exist inside the body of snakes of Venus. My guess is that absolutely not, because it is known that in Venus it cannot it's not crossing between families. Like every husband can, they have their 3 or 4, maybe 10 if it's kind of, in dire times, like now, like in the last century, that there is such a shortage of men. But usually they don't have many wives, and and they cannot control the other wives in any way. They are limited to their family. So my assumption is that I have no control at all over the snake robots. So arguably, it could be said that the fact that the Israelis sold you robots from snake eggs without telling you from another planet, they did you a favor. Arguably, it was a favor that they have done to you, because my assumption is that while you cannot say that they are safe for human consumption, obviously, a responsible human being would have would have tried to perhaps avoid, if possible. If they have another source of sustenance, like McDonald's is open or just a regular old supermarket, they would probably prefer these options to eating snake eggs from another planet. It's kind of an avant-garde, choice even for the free-spirited among us. So I cannot say it's a safe option, but arguably it's safer than eating the red neurons that were created inside the pee. They were taken from the pee or the menstrual cycle of females in this Earth, because the bicycle effect and the way that I can control these robots. Now there is also a possibility that I can in some very more elaborated way, complicated way, can maybe affect the animals as well. But I have no way to try it, so why should I? The only for certainly living animal that is not of Earth's origin, besides myself and my daughters, that I know for certain is actually it's dead. It's the dead body of the fly that we will try to revive today, or at most tomorrow. I've already performed several symbolic experiments with resurrections, but later today, hopefully, we will try to resurrect the dead fly that is, of course, not of Earth's origin. You've seen him. It's made of metal for certain. So the Israelis think that I'm going to die because there are many animals, and they know that these animals are. But my body already contains some of this thing, because I was infected by the Israelis with these things long ago, because they liked me to. They infected me with everything. That's their hobby. What can you do? Boys will be boys, I guess. Boys will be boys. So I have a spoon ready, but I guess it's actually more convenient to try to rub it on the bun with with your hand. Just pick, let's pick a charcoal, because it contains oil on it. So charcoal. So all of them are very, very happy because they are certain that now I will be dead in very short time, because obviously this thing contains million synthetic microbes and animals and whatnot, even huge ones, and although it contains many demons, like animals that had tremendous fire resistance because it was burning like for many times. So that's why they are so happy, because they think that, they do not listen to a word that I say. No one in Israel ever listens to anything. They just watch me. They interpret reality just by watching. And I've said, like in one of the last previous days, the Americans actually wanted to be that way. Like the American bosses of the Israeli scumbags in Shabak, they order them since long ago. Just, they don't want to listen to anything that I say or upload to the internet or like any recording. They just want them to watch me and to analyze, like, in a very general way, like, how do I appear, and maybe I have like problems in presumably with kind of like psychology, or maybe I have like a kind of like psychological hardship that should be like addressed in some way, and give them send them the report of like psychological analysis of the robot based on how it appears by camera, done by the scum of the earth, of course, and read by the scum of the earth. So they don't even listen, but they see what I do and they understand that yes, he's broken to pieces, and he requires maybe he's a wizard, maybe he's not even original at all, maybe he is a clone, a wizard clone, and he is crazy, so he must get the drug, and he's like, it's like a craze, like he must get it, and he's kind of like desperate, so because of him being so desperate, he understands that while he's a clone, he lives in the room that was formerly occupied by the OG, king of the rings, like king of the yellow rings. So, and he understands that all this trash might contain like the drug, and so he's so desperate that he sets, without understanding this contains tremendous amount of extremely dangerous life form that will kill him within a couple of minutes, or most certainly hours. Better yet, maybe not kill him, but transforming him into a robot that is 100% submissive and will certainly do whatever they want him to do, which means to rape him and then to eat him, because that's what they always want. What more can they want from a representative of another sentient and advanced civilization? It only makes sense that they will try to put him or her under their command, to make a slave out of him, and then to rape him and eat him. It's the natural course of events, I would think. What other sentient species would have acted any differently? Arguably, you can say that this is just, further supports the assumption that humanity is the crown of creation. Okay, so let's take a bite of this delicacy. So this is mainly the bun, without not much of the stuff, so the next bite will be more like with the juice and the hot dog. Yeah. So yeah, I would have. It can be. I can make a recipe of like a chili or barbecue sauce out of it. Yeah. Again, with kind of a mild sauce, but with kind of a twist of kind of metallic bits that are adding to the, I would say more like spunky nature, or kind of like shovav is the correct word in Hebrew. Shovav, like a kid that is always tries to do all sort of charades, to fool people. But generally, yes, good taste and valid mixture and very, very juicy. So anyway, I will finish this one, but we need to continue with the sculpture. Okay, so I took a bite from the charcoal, which is kind of like crunchy. So the charcoal, I mean, if it's not too big chunks, it's actually it adds like a you know, like a crunchy texture. Maybe you could like this sauce can be like prepared in two variants, like you know, you have like skippy, like the peanut butter, so it's like the regular variant, and the ones with chunkies, like crunchies, or I mean, you know, spunkies, you know, I mean, just you know, like you know, little pieces in it. So this can be like a one with the charcoals. Anyways, you understand already. This the kind of configuration of this table represents a body, and it's like it's got all sorts of like, I mean, reasons. So this is the body. So now we work inside the context of a body. So we can ask what body. So since this is not actually specified, the answer is body in the solar system, because the scope of the solar system is the default scope. And so it's important, like what elements are there when I start to work, like when I place like it on the table, and what do I do, because my actions actually define the symbolism, like when we work in the context of bodies. So I don't want to elaborate too much, but I mean, in general, I mean, you know, snakes are snakes. You're all very aware of the various like type, the natural, the synthetics. I mean, so there's still more work to be done, but yes, snakes are snakes. And this one is red blood cells, and this one is also a red blood cell, and this one is actually a neuro, but not in a good like state, like, I mean, a broken neuro. And this one is also a neuro, and this is the I mean, these two are white blood cells, but I'm not sure that they, I mean, it's important for me to place like white blood cells, because I don't have white blood cells, and I'm almost certain, like, Titans should, I mean, if they are not hybrids, Titans, like OG Titans, don't have white blood cells because they have the neuros. Why should they have white blood cells? We should address this issue, I mean, in the next video. Because I mean, the existence of white blood cells is important for me, not specifically because I want to actually do something with them. I mean, of course, you understand what's going to do happen to the red blood cells. I mean, we will do something that, I mean, it symbolizes their destruction. But white blood cells are there to signify that this is a body that contains white blood cells, which means not a Titan body. And I mean, actually, white blood cells, I mean, they have kind of like, I mean, amorphic form, like they're big and kind of like, I mean, with some kind of imagination, you can say that these two are white blood cells. And so I was thinking about some more, and then and also I'll record the video. I mean, you know, the last chapter of the saga, like the robot saga. There are still many things to say, even though it's so disgusting. But we should get it over with, and continue with the fairy tale, and maybe then venture to other directions. And I mean, let's see if I'm going to die like soon because of presumably the hideous material that I inserted in my body. I mean, just now. So let's cross your fingers, or pray to God that, whatever you want to pray will happen, and we will meet very soon.